Welcome back to The Smart Consumer. We are talking about financial advice and whether or not real world people really need to seek out financial advice. And my guests today are two financial advisors from American Express Financial Advice Services. When we left, we were just talking about whether or not people really need a financial advisor, whether they should be able to do this on their own. But clearly you guys know a lot more about financial matters than I do. What kind of things would you actually unravel for people considering financial advice? What kind of choices, for example, would you present to them?
What kind of choices? Well, I mean, if we were to look at a topic, let's say specifically for individual retirement accounts or something relative to retirement.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of different opportunities that people could probably take advantage of, depending on what, number one, their income brackets are, what their own tolerance for risk is, and what their time horizon is.
All right,
There are three big factors right there when we consider what's appropriate for our own clients.
All right, what about an IRA? Would an IRA be a part of a portfolio like that?
It may be, yes.
And what is an IRA? Help us understand that.
An IRA really stands for an individual retirement account, and it's really a tax code. It's an umbrella that allows you to put money away either tax deferred and allows it to either continue to grow tax deferred and or tax free, like in the case of a Roth IRA.
Wonderful. And I've also heard the term 401k.
Right. That's usually a company-sponsored plan provided by your employer that allows individuals to put away money pre-tax, so they don't pay tax on the money now, and allows the earnings on the inside to grow tax-free as well.
Okay. And how about a 529 plan? Can you explain what one of those is?
Sure. A 529 plan is what we use to help people reach their education goals. Basically, what a parent would do is open up one of these accounts and put money into it for their children's education, and it is also allowed to grow tax deferred.
So part of your analysis really does include an evaluation of the tax liability for these different choices too?
Correct.
And do you actually help people get into those various options, actually set up accounts for those various options?
Yes.
We help our clients implement as well. That's the big thing as part of our service. You know, one of the things, we don't sit down and just say, listen, this is the best opportunity for you moving forward based on your current situation. We also guide them down that path to help put the things in place and then help them monitor their progress.
All right, here's probably one of the questions that I know all of our viewing audience is wondering about. How much does it cost to have a financial advisor?
Well, it depends on who you work with, and it also depends on your individual situation.
Okay, so is it a fee per service kind of relationship, or is it a flat fee? Am I making any sense there?
Yes, yes you are. And it really depends on the individual's case complexity. For individuals that obviously have small businesses, the challenges might be a little bit greater and it would take a little bit more effort on our part. Or in the case where it might be just an educational or retirement goal, that might not require as much effort on Kenya and I's part.
So the more we ask of you, the more we might have to pay for the service.
Right.
In the case of a small business owner, one of the things we find in working with the individuals is that you know, they don't have anything in place to, in the event something would happen to them. More or less like a buy-sell agreement. And it allows us, it's going to extend us a little bit more to meet with things, people like lawyers, as far as an estate plan goes.
Sure,
so it would require more effort on our part to meet with them on their behalf.
Well, I've also heard that there's some people who are financial advisors and others who are certified financial advisors. What's the difference there?
There's actually a requirement that's actually so many years in the industry, and then you have to sit for a comprehensive exam that they test you on everything from employer-provided or employee benefits all the way up to very complex estate cases.
Okay. All right, so let's assume that I decided that I was going to go see a financial advisor.
Mm-hmm.
What would the first thing that I would do be? What would be the first step for me in this process? You want to try that, Kenya?
Sure. Actually, you need to do some homework, but at American Express Financial Advisors, we do provide a service to our members on our website that introduces people to what we can do to help them. After that, we offer initial complimentary meetings to people that request one.
Let me just make sure I understand that last thing. Initial complimentary meetings, does that mean it's free?
Yes.
So the first meeting that I had with an American Express financial advisor would be a free meeting?
It would be
Correct.
free to you, yes.
Yes.
And what happens in that first meeting?
We get familiarized with our clients, we get to know each other, and they determine whether or not they want to work with us.
Okay.
If we're a good match, then we move forward, and then we decide what the client's goals are and move forward again and determine how we can get them to reach their goals.
All right, do I need to gather up my bills and things like that for that meeting, or is that something that happens later?
It's helpful if you do gather up any pertinent information for the first meeting, because it helps us better determine whether or not we can actually help you, to give us a better, it helps us give you a better idea.
All right, and actually, if I turn my paycheck over to you guys, would you actually pay my bills for me, that kind of thing? Or is that not exactly what advisors do?
That's not exactly what we do. What we can do is set up an account for you, sort of like a checking account, with our bank called Centurion Bank,
Okay.
and have your bills paid that way, just like any other banking service.
That's
But
pretty good,
again,
though.
that depends on what the client wants and if it's appropriate for them.
That's pretty good. That actually relieves people of a large part of the burden of management of financial accounts.
Sure.
So you guys are actually advising in the various options, and I heard you say before it could be insurance, it could be securities, and it could be planning for a future retirement or college, either one of those kinds of options.
Correct.
And any combination of those things are part of the services that you provide.
Yes.
All right. Well, I wanted to make sure we get some information out about contact. I think, Dale, you mentioned once before that you guys have a website and a telephone number. Would you get both of those out?
Sure. Our website would be www.americanexpress.com, and if you just look under financial services, that will guide you to the appropriate spot. And then we also have a local phone number here. It's 717-975-5555. That would be our local office.
You mentioned once before where you guys are in this community. Would you make sure that we make sure our studio audience knows precisely how to get to you?
Sure. We are located on 3500 Market Street on the second floor, and that is located in Camp Hill.
Thank you all for joining us here on The Smart Consumer as we discuss the subject of financial advice. And thank you also to American Express Financial Advisors for giving us the kind of information that makes a difference in our financial lives. Tune in again next week for The Smart Consumer.